to get rid of that image. And the image, the other image, you have a neatly dressed, well-groomed female. And this would be the type of person that you would want to be around, even today. You know, today, if you, and it goes all the way back to the, to the thing with the trade violence. You know, if you're well-dressed, quote unquote, the way society thinks that you should present yourself, then you get a positive reaction. Right. But if you are not, like the young man with the teenager with the hoodie, you know, people assume certain things about you because you look a certain way. And so here in the north here, with this lady, this is the picture that I want white society would be more positive toward than this picture here.
One on the left kind of implies that she may be uneducated.
Right.
Only fit for domestic work.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a broom in the background, and she's a domestic worker. And the other one implies that she's educated, you know, higher level of education, sophistication, and probably has a better job to me. You know, or is prepared for a better situation or a better job opportunity.
Yeah. So while many of these helpful hints seem very condescending and seem very kind of negative, is there any sense that you get of some of the benefits of being in the North? I mean, are there any kind of reminders of what some of the positive aspects of life in the North bring? I heard someone say something about baseball, and I'm wondering if maybe that we get a sense of what some of the kind of freedoms that the North brought that this pamphlet suggests. Yes.
Well, some of the ones that I saw, I mean, just some of the things in the South, you knew that they weren't getting in the North. They obviously tell you that you have the ability to do is like to get a savings account when they're doing bank or loan association. They have that ability in the North that already exists. They don't necessarily in the South, so much so that they had to point out that that's a thing that you can take advantage of up here, instead of just letting the Southern migrants assume that they can't do that.
Right, exactly. Yes.
It set high expectations.
Yeah.
And in order to be in society there, you had high expectations and you were expected to live up to those high expectations. Just like in society today. The way I dress is casual and just, you know, goof off. But if I was going to some place where that I was being, well, I'm not saying nobody in here is important, but you know, if I was going to meet like one of the senators or you know, things that I've done in the past, met the governor a few times, I would dress appropriately, good dress and heels and stockings, and people that know me know I never get dressed up. So, you know, but I do have the ability to do that. It's just that the way my lifestyle, you know, allows me to be casual and comfortable. Whereas when in other positions that I've held in the past, I had to be, I had an expectation of the way I had to look. My hair had to be done, you know, every 4 weeks or whatever. I had to put on makeup and all that kind of stuff. And this set an expectation for these people. And so they had to live up to that expectation. Whereas in the South, thank goodness, we don't necessarily have to do that all the time.
Exactly. So this really
The reason behind the two visual images and the reason they were women, was it because the reading and writing was still limited at this point? And so they needed a visual in order to, I'm asking a question, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely possible that the image, you know, captured, even if you didn't read all of these helpful hints, the image did capture very graphically, you know, just as you said, sort of like the difference between, you know, what the kind of deportment and behavior or what the clothing and the kind of overall appearance might have been in the past compared to what was possible in the North. So that is a possibility. But certainly it was just a very stark image, a kind of before and after, if you will, so.
And then, you know, and I know that African American women, when it came to the, what is it, cult of domesticity,
Right.
those, they were kind of left out, but exposed to a certain degree in a lot of the morals and values. People felt like it came through the woman.
Right.
You know, when we look at a man, you know, whatever he has on is pretty much okay.
Yeah.
But when you want to bring out the sophistication
Yeah, yeah.
or
Or the values.
the values, it's usually implanted
Right.
in the woman.
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that that's maybe why they used the woman.
Yeah, and you could even imagine that here, you know, if we just even look at the way her legs are.
Mhm.
You know, here her legs are
Right.
sort of open, which kind of suggests, you know, maybe sexually more available in a sense, or not, or without having as much control over her
Right,
sexuality. Whereas in the North, there was this opportunity for Black women to have more control over their sexuality, perhaps. Yes.
I've been debating whether to bring this up, but we all see it. If I use this in my classroom right now, that first helpful hint, it's for my Hurricane Katrina people that have moved into our area. You can definitely pick them out in our school system. They're loud, and they dress differently, and they're proud of it in a lot of ways. But the comparison is going to be made, you know, because they're really loud. In our school system, it makes a difference, even in class. And then a lot of them will use it as an excuse. Well, I'm from New Orleans. You know, it's okay. So, I don't know.
That depends on what part of New Orleans that they're from, really.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's not all of New Orleans.
Right.
That's true, and just as in, you know, I would make the case that the South, both black and white, is equally as formal in its dress and deportment as the North. But I will say this, even though it may seem condescending, I think the Urban League's helpful hints were based in pragmatism, because even, let's just pretend that we lived in a world where there was no prejudice and no ethnic or distinctions of any kind. It's still true that, well, let me not say true, it's still a fact that people judge a book by its cover, at least initially.
Yeah.
And you have to be doubly aware of that in the real world where there are prejudices of various kinds.
Right.
Okay? So, I think this is pragmatic, not condescending at all.
And you know what else, and I'm gonna take a, when I look at this picture, I can remember being in, you know, when I was growing up, I remember my aunts and uncles that came from the North. When they came to visit, their styles, it was just something I wanted to aspire to. You know, it was just, everything was just so perfect to me, to them. And of course, they would come and they would bring this stuff, and I can remember as being a little girl trying to imitate them after they, you know, after they would go back home with the styles that they had. And I mean, you know, and then that lasted for quite some time, because the styles came from the North to the South.
Right.
And when they came, it was almost like we were like in awe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right, right.
Mhm.
Thank you, thank you. Well, oh, yes, did you?
This also kind of reminds me of the helpful hints, the manner books that would go around at that time, the Emily Post, before Emily Post.
Mhm.
Not necessarily perhaps racial specific, but general, how to be a lady, how to be a gentleman, how to be.
Exactly, right, right, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Professor, if I may elaborate on that, I think here, and again, I don't think this is condescending. You know, in the South, I think we're all agreed that at that time there was an informal but very real structure to keep African Americans at a poverty level. Whereas this migration represented an opportunity not only to escape social oppression, but to break into the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these helpful hints are, and maybe I've been reading too much Ruby Payne lately, but I think the helpful hints are an attempt also to given instruction in unwritten middle-class behaviors. So I think they're actually helping to transition from a poverty-ridden set of behaviors that both white and black people from a poverty-stricken strata of society, they're actually giving them helpful hints to